On September the 24th, 2021, Cherry Red Records released Spirit, Sunrise and Salvation, the Mercury Era Anthology, a new remastered 8-disc box set featuring each album recorded by the legendary band Spirit, released by the Mercury label between 1975 and 1977 and in 1984, plus 102 previously unreleased live recordings and demos, compiled by Spirit archivist Mr. Mick Skidmore. As well as all this, it includes a complete demo version, an early demo version of future games. At £42, is it worth it? Yes, most certainly it is. This works out at about £5.25 each, or just over $7. £5.25 for each CD, or just over $7, which is pretty damn amazing. Anyone who follows this channel knows I love this band. I absolutely adore this band. I've been listening to them since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. So, what do you get for your money? Well, Disc 1 and Disc 2 contains a remastered version of Spirit of 76. This was released in May 1975, and it was billed at the time as Spirit's comeback album. 5 years had passed since the band's magnum opus, the classic 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus. Although this album was poorly received at the time, it had slowly gained in popularity and critical recognition. And by 1975, it was accepted as the classic album it is. So everything should have been right for a Spirit comeback. No. In 1972, there had been an album released under the Spirit banner called Feedback. This featured only 2 original members, Ed Cassidy and John Locke. It didn't sound like Spirit and was poorly received by fans and critics alike. Whereas Randy California had started a solo career with Captain Copter and the Fabulous Twirlybirds. This was given 0 promotion and 0 publicity by the record company. Randy California would often joke he met the one guy who bought the album. Then there was all the Potato Land saga, which is an epic story in itself and will be told by myself another time. Now, when Spirit of 76 came out, I don't think the record buying public had much idea or faith in what they were buying. You know, there'd been all these stories of this Spirit band, that Spirit band, this was happening, this wasn't happening. And on top of all that, to come back with a sprawling double album was just too big an ask for the record buying public. But it did reach 147 on the Billboard charts, which is kind of a shame, because it is one of the greatest double albums of all time. Trust me, it is one of the greatest double albums. You have Wild Wild Freakouts, prog rock, pop rock, surf rock, jazz rock, acid rock, sometimes leaping from one genre to another in the space of a single song. Joker on the Run, for example. The Byrds and Jimi Hendrix in the same song. Just take a listen. The scope, the depth and the beauty of this album is something else. Randy California even throws in a bunch of covers for good measure. Hey Joe, America the Beautiful, Happy, Walking the Dog and Like a Rolling Stone. And they're all stellar versions. The album came about when Randy California and Spirit stood in for 10 Years After, who had to cancel a gig. The money raised from that gig funded studio time at Studio 70 in Tampa, Florida. I do feel though that Randy pushed the limits of that studio's capabilities right to the edge. Spirit of 76 has layers of instrumentation, especially Randy's guitars, and it sometimes can sound a little muddy. Hopefully Mr. Skidmore can separate things out a little on this remastered version. CD 2 is rounded out with some Spirit of 76 outtakes and a bunch of live tracks from 1974, unreleased live tracks. CD 3 contains Son of Spirit and Farther Along, both remastered. Now back in the day, a friend's review of Son of Spirit described it like this: a space-going arc of an album. It's beautifully recorded, probably my favourite production on a Spirit album, and it's a mixture of Potato Land outtakes and songs Randy had for a proposed album back in 1974. Farther Along from 1976 is a sort of reunion album, but it misses original lead singer Jay Ferguson. If you'd like to hear a complete review of Farther Along, please go back and look at the previous videos on this channel and you'll find it. At the time, I felt the album was kind of incomplete, but here we get 5 outtakes, including the amazing Let Me Be Your Daddy. Disc 4, Future Games, A Magical Kahuna Dream. If I was allowed to take one album, if I just had to take one album to a desert island, this would be the one. Even after 44 years, I can still hear new things every time I take a listen. If you'd like to hear a complete review of Future Games again, please go back and look at the videos on the channel and you'll find it. Now you have 11 bonus tracks here and they are all stunners. But just take a listen to the full version of Would You Believe. Where the original track ended, this version takes off to a magical, swirling, dancing blend of harmonies, which is just amazing. I can't tell you how good this track is. It's almost worth buying this complete set to hear just this one song. Disc 5, The 13th Dream, Spirit of 1984. This one's always been a bit of a strange one for me. The original band got back together and it should have been a great record. Instead, it was just kind of a mishmash of redone, updated classic Spirit songs and some very poor originals. The reasoning behind this, again, I have no idea. Despite the disappointment of this album, I will forgive the band everything. They made up for it in the live performances they did to support this album. They were just incredible. At the end of this CD, you have 6 tracks of the band live in concert, and you can see why I am so colourful and I'm so effusive about the band, because they were just on a different level. California in particular, I've never heard him play with such energy, such power. Take a listen to Working in Detroit. He does about 6 solos, and at the end of it all, the last solo, he knows just how good he's playing and he swaggers. It's something to hear. Disc 6, we get 29 tracks of studio material from 1974 to 1975. Here you have all the embryonic versions of the material that would go on to make up the Son of Spirit album. But with some, like You're So Beautiful, also known as Going Away, I actually prefer the original. Wake Up America sees Randy sounding like a young Gil Scott-Heron, while Jimmy Brown is one of the first songs Randy taught himself to play on guitar at 8 years old. CD 7 is a live CD recorded in Austin, Texas in 1975. I had this on bootleg for many years and it's another scorcher. CD 8, I guess this is the holy grail for a lot of Spirit fans, the complete demo version of Future Games. I've been lucky enough to have this for many years. The best way I can describe it is like this. Let's say if you have an album you absolutely love, Abbey Road, Dark Side of the Moon, for example. Then someone presents you with a completely alternative version of the album, which is just as good and in some places better. It blows your mind. Like the album says, it's a magical Kahuna dream. The CD is rounded out by another 8 live tracks from 1975. So there you have it. Now you'll hear many people say that this band, that band were underrated and they never got the recognition they deserved. Well, for me, Spirit were at the top of that league table. And on their night, they were untouchable. So, thanks for listening. Please stay safe, stay well. Please give us a like or a dislike. Please subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next video.